I think that this is where I'm supposed to ask you. What is it I'm supposed to ask you? What the Ron?
Well, your boy Tim Walz is at it again. Just being a So
that's Coach Walz to you, Ron. You better go. So you're gonna have to go do some running. He'll send you to run for not getting that right. He's a football coach. God damn it.
So this camp, I just can't believe this campaign. The polls are as close as they are right now because this campaign is just dumb thing after dumb thing. So in an attempt to appeal to younger male voters, they thought it'd be a great idea to have Coach Walz, said sarcastically, play AOC in Madden. And
is this real life? Is this
so dumb?
Is this a real thing that's happening in life?
So
These
dumb.
two playing Madden?
Because there's a 22-year-old dude out there that's not watching the NFL, that's watching this is like, I was going to vote for Trump, but this guy's so cool. He's playing Madden against AOC. Anyway, he tweets, and I guess it's been deleted now, AOC can run a mean pick six. What does that even mean? That, like, first of all, he was never a football coach.
It means that he doesn't know. It means he doesn't understand football terminology, apparently.
No, this immediately made me think about, Ricky, I think it was 1972. Garo Upremian had that botched field goal, and then he tried to throw the ball, and he ended up writing a book called "OutKick a Touchdown." There it is. And so that's what
there he is.
So it immediately when he said, or when he wrote AOC could run a mean pick six, so my brain immediately went to Garo Upremian saying I kick a touchdown. What is
wrong with him? What is wrong with him? How can you coach football and not understand what a pick six is?
Here's Tim.
I'm in nowhere away near qualified to coach football. But I've been a fan my entire life, and there's certain things that you fundamentally understand if you have watched football and you're a grown adult. And one of them is that a pick six is an interception that's returned for a touchdown.
Yeah,
if you don't know that, I really start to question how much football you've ever watched and how much you actually know about football.
This is who Tim Walz is. Have you ever been in a situation where you're with a group of guys and girls and you're talking football, and the other person you can tell wants to be a part of the conversation, and they start to offer their insight, their thoughts on what you're talking about, and y'all just kind of look at each other like, oh my gosh, this is super uncomfortable because we actually like this guy. We know he's not a big sports fan like us, and that's okay. But dude,
he's trying. God bless him.
Trying too hard.
He wants to fit in.
Yeah, it's so uncomfortable, right?
He said we're going to take football back a few days ago. Remember that? We're going to take football back too because they don't understand football. And 3 days later, this motherfucker's dropping pick six references. Did you hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey. I'm having a heart attack and I didn't even know it. What the hell's going on here on a Tuesday morning in Chicago? This is how Yankee fans feel, down 3-0 to the Los Angeles Dodgers after dropping last night's contest in the Bronx. Game 4 of the World Series tonight, and the Yankees have to win. They got to run the table at this point, baby, or it's over. And as you very likely know, no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the World Series. It's only happened in the playoffs once, and that was in the 2004 American League Championship Series when the Red Sox came back and beat the Yankees after being down 3-0 there. Of course, going on to win the World Series and breaking the curse of the goddamn Bambino, the Yankees are going to need some magic like that of their own, or the baseball season could end tonight with the Los Angeles Dodgers as world champions. Aaron Judge is struggling, and I've got nothing but good things to say about Aaron Judge. We're talking about a guy who hit .322 with 58 home runs and 144 RBIs this season. However, he is 1 for 12 in this World Series with 7 strikeouts. Very frustrating. And not only that, but if we take his entire postseason into account, including the Division Series and the American League Championship Series, Aaron Judge is 6 for 43 in these playoffs. That is a 140 batting average if you're scoring at home. So the big dog simply has not shown up in October. And I am not one of these guys who's going to get on somebody and say that he's choking. Aaron Judge isn't choking. I don't believe that for a minute. But baseball is hard. You ever go down to the batting cage? Go down to the batting cage and just turn on the 75 mile an hour shitty pitching machine that you can probably find somewhere relatively near to your home and see how much good contact you make. Then imagine that you're getting everything spun in there at an insane rate, 97, 98, higher. It's a fucking hard job, and the playoffs are a small sample size. Billy Beane famously said years ago during the Moneyball era in Oakland, "My shit doesn't work in the playoffs." And what he meant by that is he was pretty confident that he could put together a team that would rise to or near the top over a 162 game schedule. But when you're talking about a 7-game series or a 5-game series or a 3-game series, which is what we see in these playoffs, depending upon what level we have reached within the tournament, as it were, it's a crapshoot to a large degree. And so Aaron Judge not performing well, obviously that's on him. But I don't know how much you can criticize a guy who really put this team on his back throughout the 2024 season. But the 2024 season is going to end unceremoniously for Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees unless they can find their bats tonight in the Bronx. And they're going to need some pitching too. Ratings are up for this World Series. Last year, the ratings had dropped below 10 million. For the first time, I believe, in decades, maybe ever. But take a look at this real quickly. In this series, Freddie Freeman, 3 home runs, 7 RBI, 4 extra base hits, and then take a look at the New York Yankees. 2 home runs as a team, 5 RBIs as a team, 3 extra base hits as a team, and 23 strikeouts there as well. Freddie Freeman is a one-man gang. He has homered in all 3 games of the series, and dating back to his days with the Atlanta Braves, where he won a championship as well, he's now homered in 5 consecutive World Series games. Not even Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, could say such a thing. Not even Mickey Mantle, the Commerce Comet. Not even the Sultan of SWAT, Babe Ruth himself, can say that they've homered in 5 consecutive World Series games. So Freddie Freeman is having himself a party, and he invited himself to that party, not the New York Yankees. But let me talk about these ratings. Japan has had actually more viewership than the USA. I'm not sure what that says about baseball on television in this country. I can tell you that the World Series viewership topped out in 1978, which was also a Dodgers-Yankees series. It's the first World Series that I remember. It was my coming of age as a baseball fan World Series. Over 44 million people watched that Dodgers-Yankees World Series. And here you can see Game 2 of the series. Just under 14 million Americans watching and almost 16 million Japanese watching, and that means that about 12% of Japan's entire population as a country was watching this game at 9 a.m. It was Good Morning Japan fare in the Ohtani effect and the Yamamoto effect, but Yamamoto's just latching on to that one. The Shohei Ohtani effect is real. This World Series is a bigger deal in Japan than it is here. And of course, the Japanese people have had a long love affair with baseball, and I can only imagine how excited they are. Pitching, man. Let me talk about pitching a little bit here. We've covered it many times on this show. Whenever I have a former major league pitcher on the program, I always pick the guy's brain about this, but we are seeing the evolution of starting pitching. Maybe we should call it the devolution, whatever the name would be for it, but it ain't going well for starting pitching. When I was a kid, you'd have starting pitchers out there, 34, 35 starts a year. They'd probably, if they were a stud, they'd probably complete about 8 or 10 or 12 of them, and they'd throw close to 250 innings. Well, even by the time that I was a kid, it had already started to become more of a relief pitcher focused game. Back in the 1970s and 60s, it was not unusual to see guys complete 30 games in a season. If you go back and look at Ferguson Jenkins, Gaylord Perry. But this World Series, Game 1 of the World Series, 12 pitchers used. Game 2 of the World Series, 10 pitchers used. Game 3 of the World Series last night, 15 pitchers used. But look at this motherfucker. Ray Caldwell. I'm shouting it out right now for Ray Caldwell, and I hope that some of his ancestors are watching this program right now, or that they hear about this, because Ray Caldwell on August 24th, 1919, was struck by lightning in the 9th inning, pitching for the Cleveland Indians, was revived and finished the game. I want you to look at that. Look at that. That's the best parenthetical ever in the history of parentheses. Is it not? Finished game after being revived. This motherfucker was struck by lightning, got knocked out. The medical team came out, revived. Well, Ray's still alive. I've got a heartbeat. And then the manager of the Cleveland Indians was like, well, guess what? If Ray's still alive, hand him the baseball and he's going to finish this game. And he did. And then 17 days later, he threw a no-hitter. That's the America of 1919. Now, if you throw more than 100 pitches, you die right there on the mound. The life leaves your body, and the funeral is scheduled for the following week. Ray Caldwell, struck by lightning, no fucks to give. He was going to go the distance. You tell those assholes down in the bullpen that they can fuck off, because I've been revived now, and Ray Caldwell finishes what he starts. And speaking of people who finish what they start, I'd like to bring in now the international streaming star from Nashville, Tennessee. Ronnie T-Shirts joins me as always. Ronnie, getting struck by lightning during a baseball game, being revived and finishing it scores pretty high on the badassery scale, does it not?
Yeah, but wasn't there like a hockey player that like had a heart attack or something and kept playing?
That's a good callback. I believe it was Bruce Gamble of the Philadelphia Flyers. He had a heart attack during a game, stayed in the game, and won it like 3-1. Finished the game after having a heart attack. They came in and they were like, bro, like you had a heart attack during the first period. And he was like, well, it's going to take more than a heart attack to get me from, between the pipes.
Yeah, man.
That's a good callback for you there. Nice hockey reference, right?
Hey, blind squirrel, man. Blind squirrel every once in a while. Yeah, it's the whole load management thing did not apply. Gosh, really, when did load management is just, it's what, last 10 years tops? I mean, guys were.
What was that, Ron?
I said load management. What has it been? The last 10 years tops that's happened?
I mean, yeah, load management is a pretty new phenomenon in the NBA. I mean, guys have gotten days off here and there, but it didn't used to be a thing. It wasn't a part of the ethos of the league. I'll talk to Bob Ryan about it later in the program when the great Boston Globe columnist, the legend, joins me here. But Ronnie, here's one for you that I thought was pretty interesting related to baseball. Did you know that grenades were made the size and weight that they were to mimic throwing a baseball? Because, quote unquote, any young American man should be able to throw it properly?
Ricky, I did not know that. And that's fascinating, and it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, World War II. There you go. Grenades were designed, can you imagine Bob Feller out there throwing grenades? He was practically all that we needed to win that war.
Kent Colby and
that's kind of
Dave
fascinating.
Concepcion throwing him sidearm.
Yeah, just Dave Concepcion just bouncing a grenade at a fucking Nazi and blowing him up. That'd be pretty badass. I would sign on to see that. Let's go ahead and pivot over to Super 70 Sports on X and take a look at the poll of the day, shall we? There it is. It's America's poll of the day. And the choices today, Ron, I thought of while I was in the shower this morning, just reflecting on life, thinking about this program. Of course, from the moment I wake up, all I am thinking and living and breathing is what's going to be on this show. And this is what I decided upon as I was washing my hair, Ronnie. The choices today for your consideration and for the consideration of the public: Monty Python. Yesterday I said that I was going to put Monty Python in a poll, and so I have actually remembered that, which makes me think that I may be staving off Alzheimer's, at least temporarily here. Number 2, I've got Philly cheesesteaks. Always, in my opinion, delicious. Number 3, the great Stevie Wonder. And the last one, inside the park home runs. So here you go. 4 random choices as always, Ron. 4 things that I think are independently each good. Tell me which one you pick and give me your prediction for what the public will decide.
All right. So I don't think Monty Python is funny. So go ahead and make your communist joke. Philly cheesesteaks, I would have to eat sans green pepper because I don't like green pepper. Stevie Wonder, fine
I'm
musician.
with you on that. I don't need the pepper either, Ron.
Stevie Wonder.
I hate to align myself with the communists like that, but I'm going to agree with you. Do you like Stevie Wonder?
So Stevie Wonder falls into that category of, if it comes on, I absolutely enjoy listening to it, but I would never have it like on a Spotify playlist. I wouldn't choose to listen to it, but if I hear it, I like it. And I am
going to see Stevie Wonder on Saturday night, Ronnie, at the United Center.
You know who? He's not going to see you back, or is he? Based on
that's the way I like it. I'm gonna sneak up on him.
Or based on that video you showed where he caught the microphone, maybe it's all a ruse.
Maybe he will see me.
Maybe he will see
me.
Inside the
he's
park,
a bucket
homers.
Lister for me, so I'm excited. Yeah, inside the park homers, Ron.
Inside the park
Little
homers.
League homer.
I'm a big fan of things that don't usually happen in normal games. So like anytime like a quarterback catches a touchdown, inside the park home run. So I chose inside the park home runs. I like things that don't happen very often in sports. I think they're fun.
All right. Well, I would take out of these 4. I'm going to have to ride with Stevie, I think, on this one. I like all 4, so there's nothing weak here for me. Producer Tim, tee it up and tell me what it is. Producer Tim is a little salty. I didn't realize until after I'd posted this, Ryan. He wanted me to do a cat-themed poll today. It's National Cat Day. And producer Tim had 4 cat-related options. It was like Garfield. What was it? It was Catwoman, Garfield, Kit Kat bars, and the Kentucky Wildcats.
Could I do a write-in?
I feel like Kit Kat bars would have.
I'm going to do a write-in. I'm going to do a write-in for Gene. Gene the cat.
Stud. That he's out in the he's I can hear him meowing out, moving his way about other parts of Super 70 Sports headquarters here in Chicago, Ron. But take a look at this. Monty Python holding a very slim lead over Philly cheesesteaks inside the Park Homer's third, and Stevie Wonder just being fucking disrespected. Just disrespected. That's no way to treat Stevie Wonder. I'm beginning to wonder, I don't know that I like, first of all, like how white is my audience? Huey Lewis in the News gets 45% of the vote yesterday. Stevie Wonder, a literal musical genius, probably one of the 5 or 10 greatest living musicians. It gets 13%. Fucking dumbass Huey Lewis just out there singing about the power of love, just fucking stomping everybody yesterday. I'm beginning to question the musical taste of my audience.
What's your favorite Stevie Wonder?
They're still sexy and intelligent.
What's your favorite Stevie Wonder song?
Boogie On Reggae Woman is my favorite Stevie Wonder song.
I like Sir Duke. I
love that song.
What's the My Cherie Amour?
My Cherie Amour. Yeah, good choices, buddy. Yeah, I'm right there with all of those. I Was Made to Love Her, Living for the City. So many great songs. Do, I Wish.
Yeah, man. There's a lot.
Stevie Wonder. Huey Lewis is going to be at Championship Friday, and Stevie Wonder is sitting at home looking. It doesn't feel right, Ronnie. You know what else doesn't feel right? I don't know how I feel about this. What happens when two people that, well, I don't know, Ron. I mean, Shannon Sharpe and Aaron Rodgers are two of the more, I don't know, let's say loquacious NFL superstars of the past, I don't know, 25 years or so. Shannon Sharpe obviously plying his trade on television and in the media for a long time at this point. And Aaron Rodgers, who is destined to join him in Canton, Ohio, is no stranger to media appearances and doing interviews and speaking his mind about a variety of topics that are not football. So, Ron, I'm just going to show you this, let you react. Shannon Sharpe seems to be taking some delight in the failures of the 2024 New York Jets, and he had some things to say about Aaron Rodgers on ESPN's First Take. Let's take a look.
Let's make it the trifecta, because it couldn't happen to a more smug, cavalier, condescending guy. Oh, that's even low for you. Now, who else you gonna blame it on? You running out of people to fire and demote. You fired Robert Saleh. You're going to fire Olbrich now, the interim coach. You've demoted Hackett. What you going to do? Demote the new offensive coordinator? Who else you going to trade for? Who else you going to bring in? Oh, we're a quarterback away.
Well, Ron, it does seem that he has a point. The way that the Jets season is imploding with all of the changes that have been made that, you know, regardless of what Aaron Rodgers' involvement was or involvement wasn't in the coach losing his job, in Devontae Adams being acquired, in the changes that have been made to the play calling, etc., at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is the face of the New York Jets. He came in here to be a savior. They're actually putting up a worse record than when they didn't have him under center. Is that fair of Shannon Sharpe in your estimation?
Well, last week we did a similar little segment with Michelle Beadle talking about Deshaun Watson, and we both concluded that she ain't wrong. And as much as I'm not really a fan of Shannon Sharpe's, he ain't wrong. And he actually he had a great description of Aaron Rodgers. He's smug, man. He's so smug it's become unlikable. Like whether or not he's the smartest person in the room, he wants to make sure everybody thinks that he's the smartest person in the room, and he's very dismissive of things that other people say. He's just kind of become borderline unlikable to me. So I do see why Shannon called him smug, and he's not wrong, man. Like this team shouldn't be 2-6, Ricky. Like they've done everything.
Smug is fair, I think. Yeah. He is a little smug. He seems a little satisfied with his own intellectual prowess, I would say, Ron. But look, here's the thing about Aaron Rodgers. I commented not that long ago, Aaron Rodgers, stats-wise, it looks more impressive than Brady. If you put Rodgers' year-by-year stat lines up, I mean, it's comical how few interceptions the guy has thrown historically. He's never thrown as many interceptions as Brady did. And his quarterback rating, I'm almost certain, Ron, if you go look at their career quarterback ratings, for whatever value you want to attach to that or not, Rodgers is higher. How has he only gotten to one Super Bowl? That is one of the biggest whiffs. And it makes you wonder, I'm not laying it all at his doorstep, but Aaron Rodgers is so fucking good, and he had a lot of good teams in Green Bay, and to only make it to one Super Bowl, he's been to 1/10 as many Super Bowls as Tom Brady. He's only been to one more than I have, and I don't know how that happens. It's almost like there's something missing with him when it comes to that next level that the greatest of the greatest of the great have, that indefinable, intangible something. It's almost as though he lacks it. And I don't think, maybe there are people who have played with him and former Green Bay teammates who would strongly disagree with this, but it doesn't seem to me that he is a great leader.
Yeah, I don't know, Ricky, and I don't know the answer to this. And, you'd have to go back and analyze all the games that, whether it be an NFC championship game or a divisional playoff game. Like how many times in those situations where had the Packers won and they would have advanced to the Super Bowl and then maybe won the Super Bowl, was it something that was like, Aaron Rodgers, it was his fault? I don't know the answer to that, but the truth is you can't have it both ways. Everybody says football's the ultimate team game. And so if your team doesn't go as far as you want it to, you can't necessarily just blame one person. So I guess I would need to see, are there instances of him actually being the one to drop the proverbial ball in those situations? Because, we can play the whole game of, well, if Aaron Rodgers had been with the Patriots and Tom Brady had been with the Packers, what do we think the results would be?
It's a hypothetical and it's not fair, but I'll tell you, yeah, Aaron Rodgers would probably have more championships than Tom Brady if their situations were completely reversed. But I'll tell you this, Brady would have gotten more out of the Packers than Rodgers did, and Rodgers wouldn't have gotten as much out of the Patriots as Brady did. That's my take. Now, it's an easy thing to say. It's a hypothetical, so no way of proving it. But yeah, I mean, Rodgers made it to 5 NFC championship games and only got to 1 Super Bowl out of that. Now, I don't know that there's any game that you can go back and look at and say, well, look at this horrible stinker he threw up. He choked or whatever. I don't believe that that's the case. But still, it's like you're the leader. You're the guy. I think Tom Brady finds a way to get the Packers to multiple Super Bowls if he had the same situation. What am I tweeting, producer Tim? Let's take a look at Super 70 Sports over on X. See what the hell I'm tweeting about. And here's one for you that is, while baseball season, this might be the last day of baseball season for all we know, Ronnie. So might as well get this one out there. I said, throw up a hand if you can remember when our society was stable enough. You could give 10,000 fans regulation baseball bats without worrying they'd immediately try to kill each other. Can you imagine? Nowadays, it's like they won't give you the cap off of a plastic bottle of
I was just going to say that.
Coke.
Yep.
They don't trust us with the caps from Coke bottles.
Well, Ricky, but I can tell you
back in the 60s, hey, here's a bat.
Ricky, I can tell you firsthand. So, my other job where I put logos on things for companies, General Motors does a lot of events or a lot of giveaways at sporting events. And for as long as I can remember, there has been a no projectile rule where we can't offer them up something that could be thrown out onto the field. So we're always doing things like drawstring bags or maybe a pair of, kind of plastic sunglasses, but never anything that can be considered a projectile. And it's been that way. I've been doing business with them for 20 years.
No grenades.
No grenades.
You could probably logo the hell out of a grenade, Ronnie. I just, if 10,000 fans had a bat today, first somebody would be like, "You're an insurrectionist," and then somebody else would be like, "You're a fascist. You support Nazis," and everybody would just start bashing It looked like the opening scene to Saving Private Ryan. If that happened today, let's get Snagglepuss up here, gentlemen. If I might, it is National Cat Day, and even though I whiffed on producer Tim's wonderfully thoughtful cat poll, he did pull this one out for us today, and I said, I always felt Snagglepuss was one of the finest sportscasters of the 70s. He really broke it down for you, and he deserved more major assignments. Ron, I'm going to throw a question at you right now on National Cat Day. What's your favorite cartoon cat? Because I'm going with Snagglepuss. I'm riding with that sweet bastard. He's my favorite cartoon cat.
Tom by far.
Yeah, that's a good choice right there. That's old school.
Yep.
That's old school. Tom is a solid one. I don't know. Let's what else am I tweeting? I would do my Snagglepuss impersonation, but
go ahead, do it.
I can't do. What was it what would he say?
Something
like
about
exit
stage right?
Stage?
Yeah, exit stage
yeah,
right.
I can't. Yeah. I can't do it. I would.
Come on, man. Try.
Fuck it up.
Try
right now. Well, what heavens to Murgatroyd. I don't know. I can't do it.
No, you're doing it. That was good.
You bullied me into doing it, and I just made a fool of myself in front of everybody. Is that Julie Newmar? Woo, sweet goodness, Julie Newmar there, Catwoman.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.